Hello, hello, can you all hear me? You're tuning in to Urban Stories, WFH, working from home. We're going live now.
Out on a run, I ain't the only one who searches for the sun. Hanging in the winter, feel sunlight on a run. You're bringing out your guns. I think I'm done doing anything it takes to feel alive. I can't feel a thing. I've been numb for so long, living under king. I've been biting my tongue, now I gotta sing. Sing it loud, make it heard, puppets on a string. I cut him, I found the freedom. While he lounges in privilege, I'll up and I'll leave him. Don't fight for that army, no, I'd rather lead him. So anxious, I'm breathing through lungs that are heaving. Belief in the self is the key. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Muhammad Ali, yeah, he said it right. I ain't looking for wars, but I'm ready to fight. Make it.
Hi everyone, my name is Miranda and I'm your host. Thank you everyone for tuning in to Urban Stories WFH. We're broadcasting to you live from Darug country near the Toggerai Georges Rivers, and we're housed by our friends at PYT Fairfield. So wherever you're tuning in from, whether it's your home, your office, your home office, public transport, wherever, thank you. Get comfy, get a drink, it's very hot, stay hydrated, and make sure that you get some textos and some paper because you're gonna need them later. If you're on Zoom, just a reminder, go on speaker mode instead of gallery view. And if you're on Facebook, hello, we have Vanessa in the Facebook chat and we have Caitlin in the Zoom chat. I'm also in the Zoom chat, but I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of this, so you might not see me that much there. But anyway, now that we're all here, now that we're all ready and waiting, I'm honored to welcome Auntie Lynn Martin to conduct the Welcome to Darug Country.
Badyara Birunga, good afternoon. Waramai Ningan Layora Nigada Balawa Gumadi Julawo. Welcome to all. I ask you to listen to the spirits of the land. I'd like to pay my respects to our ancestors and all elders for their keeping and passing on of the knowledge of our dream time through song, dance, art and stories. This land was, is and always will be Aboriginal land. But what exactly does this mean in today? Well, we are referring to country, but when we speak of country, traditional country, we mean something beyond the dictionary-bound definition. For us, it is more than just a place on the map. To us, country could mean the values, places, resources, stories or cultural obligations associated with an area, its features, and it describes the entirety of our ancestral domains. While they may no longer reside upon their land, they may have been taken away, pushed out, losing language and stories. The First Nation people still yearn for their country and go to great lengths to try and reconnect. Where we are at Casula Powerhouse, the land is Darug land, but the border is just beyond and becomes Dharawal. So just here, both nations enjoined. They perform ceremony. This would involve bartering, marriages, talks of animals, fish and vegetation. These people cared for the land for 65,000 years. It is important to have genuine Indigenous-led embedding of our culture. This is vital for all to learn about the First Nation. With these lessons, our ancestors are reaching to us from the past, and they will inform and help our shared future. So I ask for your help in walking in the footsteps of our ancestors, honouring their journey, respecting their struggles, all the while creating our own. So for those who are on Darug land, as an elder of that nation, I welcome you. If you are on other lands, I acknowledge this and pay my respects to the people of those nations, while welcoming one and all. Warama Dijigu Yana Jandali Bulawul Nungani. Welcome to Aboriginal land, and thank you for walking with me and sharing my dreaming.
Thank you, Auntie Lynn, for giving us that beautiful welcome. And again, thank you everyone for tuning in and for letting us know where you're tuning in from. I know that even after a year of webinars and Zoom calls, this still feels weird, right? Feels weird to me. 2020 has lasted a million years and has been, you know. So if you were at our last year's annual showcase, Urban Stories Prototype, you know that a big theme of that showcase was working from place. We were meeting community, schools, and creative young people where they were. So at the beginning of this year, we were working out of the Swipe Space in Miller. We were working out of the old church in Bidwell, Mount Druitt. We were working out of Fairfield City Museum and Gallery. We were filming in the great green space of the Western Sydney Parklands. And then, you know, so Urban Stories WFH is really about capturing how this year has changed us, pivoting to online, working from home, working through Zoom, working through all our different online chats, but also really capturing how much hasn't changed. You know, things like unequal digital access, social inequality, our fragile arts ecosystem, the way young people's voices are largely unheard and ignored. These are all problems that all existed way before we had a global pandemic. And then on the flip side, the way that artists, teachers, and people working in community have been resilient and pragmatic and flexible, able to work through ever-changing circumstances and the wildest odds. They've always been there too. As we try to say goodbye to 2020 and look forward towards the future, we have to ask ourselves, what's really changed? And how do we make sure that certain things don't stay the same? So COVID-19 has really radically changed our daily practice, and the young artists of Curious Works really stepped up to adapt their workflow, and it has never been more clear than with Fun Park 2020. So the Fun Park Coalition, which is Curious Works, PYT Fairfield, Blacktown Arts Center, Learning Ground, and Bidwell Uniting, we were all geared and scheduled to have Fun Park 2020 set up as part of the 22nd Biennale of Sydney Nearin, and it was scheduled for right at the height of the New South Wales quarantine. So I'm about to introduce Daisy Montalvo, the curator of this year's Fun Park, to talk about her experience and how she and the Fun Park folks managed to adapt to this amazing Mount Druitt Festival for 2020.
But the door's shut in your face like damn, all you really want is a break and you just can't wait, waiting your whole life.
I'm Daisy Montalvo and I am the Fun Park curator. I just want to say a big hello to everyone out there watching and thank you for tuning in this afternoon. So Fun Park is an arts festival celebrating the culture and community of Bidwell Mount Druitt. This program has been sustained over 7 years by a dynamic, committed community and consortium. And just like Miranda mentioned just earlier, we had a really big year planned. We were part of the 22nd Biennale of Sydney. Workshops and conversations were underway. Our artists, production crew, and interns were all booked in and ready to go. And well, the pandemic hit. And just like everyone else, we had to either cancel or learn to adapt. So for 2020, we decided we're going to move our festival online. What this looked like was that over 8 weeks, we engaged 4 different artists to create 8 creative workshops 50 fun packs were made, put together and delivered to 50 families across Bidwell Mount Druitt. 2 conversations were held, which were the Mount Druitt press conferences, and 5 local films were shared. We also received over 10,000 views online, which we are so proud of. So just want to quickly say what my favorite part of Fun Park 2020 has been, which was the Mount Druitt press conference. And I think it was really great because, you know, we were able to hold 2 conversations online exploring the issues that young people face. So due to its success and you know, everything else, I'd like to just bring it back again next year, but with a more focused conversation looking at 4 different topics, which is young men in leadership, looking at stigma and its impact on learning and education, and also a conversation led by First Nations youth and a panel led by Pacific Islander youth. Right now, I do want to do a little bit of a teaser, just looking at the conversation of Pacific Islander youth. And I have invited here today Netta Taha, which she's a Tongan Iraqi performer and dancer, and Leo Tanoi, a Samoan cultural leader and music genius, just to talk briefly about their experiences of growing up Western Sydney and you know, being of Pacific Islander a background. And I guess we did say that Leo was going to come, but unfortunately Leo couldn't make it today due to personal reasons. But I do have Netta here today with me. Netta, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Hi everyone, my name is Netta Taha. I'm 22 years old. I'm of Tongan and Iraqi descent, and I was born and raised in Western Sydney. I'm a performing artist, primarily a dancer. I've been with my hip hop crew, The Pioneers, since 2013. And I just recently, or somewhat recently, started acting. I was in the Helpman nominated Playlist, which is a dance theatre show here produced by PYT. We had a season at the Sydney Opera House, and we were set for an Australian national tour in 2020, but due to COVID, obviously that didn't happen. And other than that, I'm a drama teacher here at PYT as well for the after school program pilots.
Thank you so much, Netta. It's always amazing hearing so much of the amazing things you've been doing and have been up to. I'd just love to hear about, you know, what do you love about being Tongan and what do you love about your culture?
Oh, there's so much to be proud about. I mean, we're part of the greatest maritime navigators in the world. We've, you know, never lost Indigenous sovereignty. We're the last remaining monarchy in the Pacific. But I think the thing that I love talking about the most is our fahu system. And fahu is a title that you give to your father's eldest sister because she's the highest ranking member of the family. And she's honored at every significant event in your life, whether it's your birthday, your wedding, your funeral. She's always there at the front getting honored and being given the highest respect. And I think having such a matriarchal system in place is really telling of our people. And I just love sharing that with non-Tongan people because they just really love the idea of this matriarchal system in place in such a patriarchal world. Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy. Actually, the first time I ever heard about this was when you told me. So it's such an interesting role, like just knowing that, you know, your culture's admiring like women in their places at home and in their family, which I think is so important. I just want to also hear a little bit about what it was like for you growing up in Western Sydney and being Pacific Islander and what that meant for you in terms of your connection to your culture.
Well, growing up in Australia, in Western Sydney, I didn't have a lot of connection to my culture, especially because it's very interwoven with religion and going to church. And I haven't my family hasn't gone to church since I was like 11 years old. So straight off the bat, I've kind of been ostracized from the Tongan community, and because of that, I grew up with such a lack of like cultural identity, and yeah, my identity was kind of askew growing up, and it became more prevalent the older I grew, because I just realized I could not really hold conversations with my family, specifically my grandma, because she doesn't really speak English. And it dawned on me one day that, like, God forbid she could pass away, and I would have never been able to have a conversation with her in her native tongue without having someone there to translate for me. So I think that really pushed me to like embark on this journey of, connecting to my culture. And so I set out and I signed up for the Tongan language classes, and I did Tongan dance classes, and I'm doing research. And I've been very passionate and vocal about it. And I actually did a short film with Maya Newell about it. Well, it highlighted it actually. And I remember sharing a short clip about it on my Instagram, and the response I got from Pacific Islander friends and family was really overwhelmingly positive. But one response that really stuck with me was a response from this Samoan guy that I used to go to high school with. And he mentioned how he really admired what I was doing, and he wanted to kind of do the same thing, but he wasn't sure why he hadn't done it yet. And it sparked this huge conversation about shame, and the shame that's associated with not knowing about your culture, especially with terms like plastic being thrown around, which like is used to describe someone who's fake or who doesn't know much about their culture or their language. And it was just a really eye-opening conversation about like how deeply a lot of the diaspora from Pacific Islands feel when like they don't know about their culture. So yeah, it was just cool to talk about how we can destigmatize that, and how just having that conversation already strips like a layer of that shame. And you're never too old to start the journey. Like I only started last year, but it's been like very fulfilling for me. But yeah, that's my experience with growing up in Western Sydney as a Pacific Islander.
Amazing. Yes, I think like I definitely love that message about, making sure that, there's a sense of self-love for yourself, and just seeing the value of yourself regardless of where you are in your cultural journey. So thank you so much, Netta, for coming and chatting with me today. And thank you. Before I pass on, I am so pleased to announce that on December 5, we are launching a mini documentary that takes us back 6 years ago to the first and biggest Fun Park event. This documentary just interviews some of the key players on Fun Park's 2014 Sydney Festival event. So earlier this year, we actually contracted Savani Yadanapudi, she's a Western Sydney local filmmaker, to create a reflection back on Fun Park 2014 and this grassroots program and its evolution. But due to COVID, we did have to put things on hold for a short while. And then once restrictions started to ease, we went back into production mode, and she was able to put it all together. So big thank you to Savani, who's done a really amazing work on this documentary. I know it wasn't an easy job to do, so I'm just really proud of her. And I am so excited to finally, let a bigger audience see it. But for now, in a moment, you are going to see a little short 1-minute trailer of the documentary. There is an Eventbrite link at the end. So if, please RSVP. And there's also an option in that link to donate. So please donate. Anything big or small, doesn't matter. All of it is very well appreciated. Thank you.
Remembering the first Fun Park, there was a lot of pink.
My strongest memory of the first Fun Park is the community sitting by the underpass to watch the Darren Baker documentary.
Someone introduced me to John Owen. I went and saw him and said, I've got this idea about creating this festival called Fun Park. tell your story and someone listens to your story, that's the most powerful thing in the world.
Lost in the woods. It gets so crazy all up in the
Hello. So from Mount Druitt, we're going to take a trip. So Miller is a neighborhood that's right on the edge of Liverpool. We've been working there, or we as in CuriousWorks have been working there since 2008. And in 2020, we started a collective impact project called Generate 2168. So Generate 2168 is a project that we've been doing with community, with partners like CORE, with the Miller Technology High School to create an out-of-school hours creative hub that's driven by the designs and desires of young people for young people. So it was meant to kick off this year, but of course, due to COVID-19, we've had to radically reform as all community face-to-face interactions stopped, all meetings were greatly restricted, and all the schools shut. And then at the same time, in the Philippines, the Vanguard performance company Sipat Lawan and their anti-disciplinary collective arm, Comunidad X, they also had to radically shift their visionary site-based, community-based practice and turn their hyperactive presence online. So we connected with JK Anacoche and the ensemble of Sipat Lawan artists to create a masterclass for the CuriousWorks artists on interfaces. So at this masterclass, they shared their model for DIY Gobierno, which is really about creating ideal local governments by the people, for the people. It was really an invitation for us to think, you know, why shouldn't everyday people be more involved in everyday governance? How can we dream bigger than our current structures and systems? And how do we bring this dream to the young kids of Miller?
So I'd like to introduce myself again. I am JK and I come from the Philippines. I love to call it a land of noise. It's a land of various noise and it's a very performative nation. We were composed of theater artists or some of us are teachers and we are interested in mapping social functions. It's called Gobierno Project where we ask audiences to create ideal government. Our capacity skill set as artists is bringing people in a space, but also if you have the strength and the courage to facilitate dreaming again, it's very important. We still think it's very important. Hello.
Okay, so now we're gonna go to JK Anacoche, tuning in from Manila.
Hi, hello. I'm JK. I'm a performance maker and a storyteller. I would like to thank CuriousWorks for sharing this space with me and with everybody. We are in awe, and we are so inspired by the work CuriousWorks is doing with the young people. Working from home, we find different ways to connect, sometimes through silences or sometimes through our imagination. Working with Curious Works and this interaction with the young artists, it has inspired us a lot. How to rethink how to connect to each other beyond borders, across nations. Working from home, this is our time to connect. Connect to our bodies through our breathing. And connect to each other, to those people in our immediate space. So I would like to invite everyone to look at your immediate space, look around. If there's someone beside you, try to see each other, connect in the eyes, or connect through screens. Working from home lets us rethink the possibilities of connection. And working from home, also in our screens, it's also important to know who are not here. It's important to acknowledge who are not here sharing these spaces with us. So I am very grateful and happy to have shared this space with everybody. And I hope that in this time of the pandemic, we all had time to rethink how to create possibilities of togetherness and connection. Maraming salamat. Hope to have coffee with you online or somewhere else. See you soon. Thank you.
Oh, am I back? Hello. Thanks for that, JK. So anyways, our connection with Sipat Lawan would have never happened if it wasn't for the amazing Valerie Berry. So Valerie Berry is a Filipina theater maker, performer, artist educator, and she also happens to be my mentor and the director of my play, Let Me Know When You Get Home. She's also right now based in South Australia, where they're under strict lockdown. So we're so happy that we're still able to connect with her this way. Everyone, please welcome from Adelaide, Valerie Berry.
Hi guys, am I on? I suspect I am. If you'd like to enlarge me, just put a pin on me and then I become bigger on your screen. So yes, I am Valerie Berry. I'm predominantly an actor, performance maker. And I acknowledge that I am talking to you right now in Adelaide, the land of the Ghana people. So I thank them for giving me a space and yes, that time to work here. Yeah, so I guess I'll talk straight away about Miranda, working with Miranda. I guess a little bit of context in that I first started working with Curious Works back in 2016 as a facilitator for the Beyond Refuge project, and then it went on into doing some mentoring with some wonderful young makers, Daisy Montalvo and Sami Halabi, during so Beyond Refuge dialogues, a series of short films, and that was amazing. And then it went on to working with Miranda, mentoring her in the Curious Women project, and I'm very excited to be working with her for Let Me Know When You Get Home. I considered this project really, and this is basically my debut directorial launch into theater making. And why I was excited about it is that both Miranda and I are emerging in the lines of work that we're doing, and so there is that room for collaboration, which is the way I work mostly, and also you know, the subject matter, you know, talking about identity, living in Western Sydney, and I consider myself as pretty much someone who works and has lived in Western Sydney. So that was one of the things that I engaged in. And also, I guess it was almost a sacrilege to say no to being invited to this process when someone really takes you on, like Caitlin and Miranda approached me to direct this, to say that we would like to work with you and that you can do this. And I take that on. It's my as a not only as an experienced performance maker, but also as a person of color, a woman, a queer woman of color, to take on this different leadership role. And so I tackled my fear basically and dived into the unknown and have really surprised myself. And if anyone has seen Miranda's work in progress, readings, any part of the development, they would know what a wonderful first play this is. Let me know when you get home, and I'm extremely honored to be directing it and be working with Curious Works as a part presenter, as well as National Theatre of Parramatta, to be launching this next year into the stage. So I'm extremely excited about that. And before I go, I just wanted to reflect on the same thing that JK was talking about, keeping connection with each other, especially in COVID times. Connection is important. Keeping connected is even more important. And that if any young person or emerging artist, emerging community leader, arts worker out there who's here joining us today, please consider a lot of the wonderful programs that Curious Works has in offer, especially 2021 onwards, especially the mentorship program, because I cannot tell you there are not many companies who are doing this, supporting young people and emerging artists, especially from Western Sydney. So that is my take for 2020. I hope we all go well, and good luck for 2021. See you soon.
Thank you so much, Valerie. I hope you're staying safe in South Australia. So the Filipinx Takeover segment of the showcase is now done. I'm going to change these earrings out. And we're actually going to take a 2-minute break. So, you all can get a drink, grab those textos I told you to grab at the beginning, or just take a break from the scenes, from the screens for a bit. And when we come back, we're going to be showing you what the kids in Miller have been doing while they were in ISO.
As the wind chimes wink in the distance, the old lady smiles at the little girl and whispers, the change is coming. Out on a run, I ain't the only one who searches for the sun, hanging in the wind to feel sunlight. On a run, you're bringing out your guns. I think I'm done doing anything it takes to feel alive. I can't feel a thing. I've been numb for so long, living under king. I've been biting my tongue, now I gotta sing. Sing it loud, make it heard, puppets on a string. I cut him, I found the freedom. While he lounges in privilege, I'll up and I'll leave him. Don't fight for that army, no, I'd rather lead him. So anxious, I'm breathing through lungs that are heaving. Belief in the self is the key. Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. Muhammad Ali, yeah, he said it right. I ain't looking for wars, but I'm ready to fight, make it right. To restore what is ours, rise up my women, believe in your power. Deceived by the system will no longer cower. I see the sun shining through all the clouds, and now on a run, I ain't the only one who's searching for the sun, hanging in the wind to feel sunlight. On a run, you're bringing out your guns. done. Doing anything it takes to feel alive. I was born a misfit. I was born a rebel. I was born with justice in my heart and my faith in God strong. I cannot be played by the devil, nah. So I won't be played by you. What about the band to slaves from Mogadishu? Inequality seems to have always been the issue. Justifying evil acts, holy texts are misused. Rape victims around the world.
I like drinking water a lot because it tastes good and it hydrates me.
R is for resilience. When I ride my bike, I feel unstoppable and resilience burns through me.
C is for cats everywhere in Manila. The dinosaur age are where all the teachers come from.
S stands for Samoa, my true country.
T is for lots of technology around town.
V is for virtual. The space is very quiet because of the virtual gaming going on.
P stands for Palusami, which is my favorite food.
H is for when I'm happy when I go out with my friends.
Hi, I'm Caitlin. I work on Curious Works community program, and I've just jumped out from behind the Zoom in front of the camera. And I'm here to tell you a little bit about Refill, the Refill program. And in a moment, my illustrious colleague, Hoi Nguyen, is going to walk us through a 3D model that was created with 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds, which are kind of beautiful, fantastical meditations on public space and the possibilities of building beautiful places out in Western Sydney so that neighbourhoods really elevate their architectural ambition, I guess. So what we did during the course of the Refill program, it's an arts and education program. I work with a host of colleagues, amazing young artists like Sandra May, Samantha Barahona, who's producing today, Hoi Nguyen, Arash Salehi. Look, there's a lot of people involved, but especially shout out to Sally Atkins, who has held this project for over 10 years. But wanted to say the content of the workshops which resulted in this model was us really taking some architectural design thinking principles into the classroom and playing with materials. And the young people really responded to buildings and artwork by James Turrell, by Gaudi, by Dohosa, who makes amazing rooms out of fabric, and also the strong First Nations and Pacifica traditions of weaving and binding shapes together. So look, I'm going to pass now to my colleague who's not appearing on camera. I'm standing in for him, Hoi Nguyen, and he's going to walk us through this 3D fantastic space.
Hi, hello. I'm going to walk you through this space designed by the Miller High School students and me and Caitlin. So we start with a bunker when you can enter to teleport yourself in another world. And then the first world you see is a prehistoric world with creatures created by the students by paper cutout. You can go around, you can explore the environment, and then you can teleport yourself into another world. So this is it's called a clay island, inspired by the Play-Doh creatures created by the students at Miller High. You can explore the island and, oh, what's going on? Okay, so there's an alien intruder, and he's not very friendly. So let's see what our creatures have to say about it. So yeah, there's always some drama, and then you go back to the main island, and then where you can view a video created by the students there about the fight, and then on to the next one. So this world is called the Light World, inspired by James Turrell, and yeah, is about architecture and coexisting with nature, and then you can enter and you can explore the atrium, and then you can see a star, which is you can click through and then listen to what the kids have to say about their idealized version of Miller. And you can access this online later, probably next week. Can take a tour around, and then this is the end of the journey. Thank you for tuning in.
Those days that move so slow, you wish that you could change it up a bit. Pick up the pace, make an escape, but the door's shut in your face.
Okay, so thanks so much for that, Caitlin and Hoy. So we're all really lucky that we're able to connect here online, but the same can't be said for a lot of the communities we work with in Miller or in Mount Druitt or in a lot of Western Sydney. Lack of digital equity has been a big problem that's existed for many, many years, and it's only been exacerbated by the global pandemic. So we at Curious Works are just one of many organizations that are part of the Westerly Coalition. Westerly is working to solve digital access in Western Sydney so that everyone can come online and have the same opportunities. It's a grassroots campaign, and you can actually get involved. So all you have to do is go online to westerly.org.au, which will be handily linked in the Facebook and Zoom chats for you all.
Tell us how to build your confidence, so we don't ever have to play pretend. If I continue, clip my wings and make it end. Do you even trust me? Then I'm on the run. I ain't the only one who's searching for the sun and hanging in the wind.
Hello. So more and more, it's become clear that we need to take the time to rest, relax, and to celebrate whatever wins we have. There's always going to be work to do, but if you don't rest, if you don't take that time for yourself, if you don't recognize how much work you do, you're never going to be able to keep going. So 2020 had its share of losses, but we wanted to celebrate some of the wins that we had too. Samia Halaby and Sean Spina, who are two of the hardest working Curious creators we know, two of the hardest working people we know, were both recognized for their hard work and achievements this year. Samia was nominated for the National Aspire Award, and Sean was awarded the Fairfield Mayor Youth Achievement Award.
Colleagues, friends and family should be proud. We are proud. We are honouring her amazing talent today and the wonderful achievements of this award. So today I would like to present you a special medal. Congratulations, Samia.
I want to say thank you to everyone for being here. It was a great pleasure for me to work with everyone here. So thank you to everyone who's been there supporting me.
Equally tonight we wanted to share in the achievements and celebrate Sean's work. So congratulations, Sean.
I couldn't have done it without Curious Works or any of you guys. Your support is very valuable to me.
Hi, welcome. My name is Vanessa. I'm the CEO of Curious Works, and I'm really excited to be presenting the next segment of Urban Stories Working from Home, which is a live roundtable discussion with 5 of our awesome young emerging leaders. Today, they're going to have a little chat and reflect on the year of 2020 and also respond to a provocation that we've put forward, which is how do emerging artists today develop and achieve creative freedom alongside stability in an increasingly unstable world. At Curious Works, we have a really, part of our vision is to actively and deliberately create a space for young emerging leadership of young Western Sydney artists to develop their skills and to develop their leadership skills in particular within the company. We strive to become that platform for stability, but also within that platform to have an opportunity for learning and for creative freedom and for putting those skills into practice through on-the-job training, through our Curious Creators programs and our other initiatives. Another way that we are working towards to instill that leadership in the company is to implement a paired leadership across the company. And our goal is that by 2025, we have paired leadership at every level. So each of the key roles within the company has an emerging leader alongside. And through this kind of apprenticeship model, we're able to build the skills necessary for leadership in the arts sector. And alongside this initiative, the third thing that we're doing is, under the guidance of our new creative director, is to form an emerging artistic directorate, which is a graduate group of incredible artistic leaders that are forming and shaping and steering the creative direction of the company. And in doing this, our end goal is to support a thriving and rich creative industry in this country by unleashing an incredible group of talented young leaders into the sector. So I think we should hear what they have to say.
Bet you've had those days that move so slow. You wish that you could change it up a bit. Pick up the pace, make an escape, but the door's shut in your face.
Hello, I'm over here now. So you all know me as your MC, but right now I am just one of the panelists. And in my everyday life and on this panel, I am a writer and creative producer. So for those of you who don't know, I've been connected with Curious Works since about 2014 and have since been working for them, and this year got to have work in a salaried position in the company. So the only reason that I've been able to start and have a sustainable arts practice and a career in the arts industry is because of Curious Works and the opportunities they gave me. So what I really want to do in my work is to make sure that other people are able to have those same opportunities, especially young people of color, especially young people from Western Sydney. So that's who I am, and that's what I care about. Let's hear more from the panelists. Sean, who are you?
Yeah, as you heard, my name's Sean Spinner. I'm a filmmaker from Western Sydney, and my passion is into learning and listening to the stories of people around me and discovering new things about everyone and everything.
Hello, I am Huy Nguyen, and I'm a graphic designer. And yeah, my passion is in design with purpose, telling stories, delivering messages that impact the society for the better.
Thanks, Hoy. Hi, guys. My name is Savani, and I am a filmmaker as well, mostly behind the camera. And my passion is in documentary, and I'm at the Fun Park documentary. So please watch it on December 5th. And I, with my work, I want to renew people's perspectives through the lens.
Amazing. Thank you, Savani. Yes, please do take that advice. Watch People's Fun Park. Anyways, I am Daisy, as I introduced myself earlier, and I have been a Curious Creator since 2015. I am a filmmaker, facilitator, arts worker, I don't know. I do a lot of things. But what I really care about is giving voice to young people of Western Sydney and making sure that we are giving them opportunities to feel empowered. And, you know, how do we do that? Through paid work, I guess. So, yeah.
So the reason why we had this provocation, which was about finding creative freedom and stability and finding the balance between the two, it's because we've had this conversation before, like individually with you guys and with the other Curious Creators. So before I even think about that, it's good to know, like, are you balanced? Is that even possible for emerging artists? No?
Well, it's a hard question because like I've been, you know, fortunate to be working closely with the art since I graduated my undergrad, I guess, you know. So I got my first job in publishing, and then I got my first job in the arts at Curious Works a year after. So that was when I started my master's as well in design. So yeah, it's been just kind of like a constant like switching between like freelance or like full-time in-house work. And I found that like, yeah, like in-house like provides stability and everything, but you know, you're doing one thing and you're doing it for like 9 to 5. So sometimes, I mean, it's exciting, it's graphic design, I love it, but like it kills your creativity a bit, like quite a bit, just, you know, working on one brief or working on one style guide, like for the whole, you know, but yeah, so, and I moved into, you know, freelance full time, and it was like, it was so exciting, but it's kind of like, yeah, like your current job is your last job. And it's kind of like, yeah, and sometimes, you know, it creates, you know, anxiety. So for me, yeah, it's just kind of like trying to find a balance between a few days doing in-house and then a few days pursuing my, you know, freelance jobs. And like I've tried, I'm trying that right now, and so far is working quite nicely. And yeah, like for me, is like, yeah, you gotta have, you know, stability to, you know, keep your mental well-being like good. And then, you know, and then you have a bit of your time, and that is when you start your, you know, freelance or your, you know, creative pursuits, like in other things, you know, filmmaking or whatever. So yeah, what about, what do you think?
I mean, Sean, you're also a freelancer. How have you been finding this experience?
Well, for me personally, I've also found it a bit of a struggle and hard, you know, because I haven't exactly had the best education, and I feel like, you know, when you're growing up, you don't exactly have the best skills, or you don't necessarily get taught the necessary skills to like get out there and, you know, find a job or like do taxes properly, you know, or like just do the everyday common things that, you know, you need to do. But I feel like, you know, I feel like if we had more of that, then I think it'd be a bigger push for us in the future, you know.
Yeah.
Especially for young people, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think you don't really get taught how to work as an artist unless you're lucky enough to have people to show you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think it's definitely super hard to be able to get that independence unless you're able to work in some kind of structure and some kind of organization. And so we've heard a lot this year from arts organizations in particular who are looking for diverse leadership, new young people to come in, to join, to be the new young diverse leaders of our company. And for some reason, people just aren't applying. So why is that? What is it that really is stopping young people from taking these leadership positions? I mean, Daisy, you would know a lot about that since you were leading Fun Park this year.
It's actually quite an interesting conversation around that. I think specifically when I think about opportunities that are out there for young people in leadership roles, they're often advertised as like an internship or you know, something that where it's like sometimes ridiculous hours, like 3 days or for a full 5 days of work where they need to do non-paid and advertised as something that is a great opportunity for them, which it is. But the problem with that is that a lot of young people, especially young people from Western Sydney who might have families depending on them or who might be going through financial hardship, just can't take on those opportunities. Like, I just like the fact that an internship to me just seems like such a white privilege thing. Like for example, my cousin, she's been looking at a lot of opportunities within her career path, and a lot of the opportunities that are out there, internships, and they're internships for people who have masters in that degree, and they're full time. And she's like, I can't do that. Like, I'm not living at home. Like, I can't go back home. Like, that's not a safe environment for me to be in. How does someone like that then get positions into a role that they want when it's advertised as an internship, where they have to find their way there with no money and then get paid nothing for 5 days of work for a period of time? It's just not going to happen. I just think that's one of the biggest barriers that I can think of when it comes to giving young people like opportunities, and why young people aren't pursuing like those leadership things, because the structure of how it's being done is just not working.
Say something. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Daisy. The first word that comes to my mind is doubt, self-doubt. There's so much self-doubt in me, and not just me, but like so many other creatives out there. And the question that runs through at the back of my mind every single day is like, am I worth it? It's kind of upsetting, like, to know, but because I just think there's not enough encouragement, like, oh, you're doing well, or you're going the right way, or like, you just never know, like, if you're going on the right way or not. You just need some sort of like person or like some sort of like push, like, hey, you're doing fine, keep going. But yeah, there are opportunities, but it's really, really hard to find. And what I think that helped me was to connect with my own peers and colleagues like that I relate to, and share my passions with. I am passionate about documentary, and I want to give back to the community. So people who people around you, surround yourself with people who think like you, and and you trust them, and that will really take you far. Like, you've been in a really bad place, talk to someone, please. Like, do not immerse yourself with these negative thoughts. Just go out there, please. And another thing I want to say is there's this need to prove your job is a job, especially when you're coming from a migrant background. And I'm fortunate that my parents are supportive, but not many parents are like my parents. And it's really hard because you go into the cyclical nature of following what our previous generations did. They're like, I know, you grow up, go school, go uni, earn. I guess we're in this whole nature of just earning until we die, I guess. But I don't know, I just really think, each person should really enable their own creativity. So please be creative. Do not give up. And creativity can really go beyond what you know. That's what I have to say.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Savani.
No worries.
So we're finding people who understand the job, or the many jobs, as Daisy pointed out, that you do, that really helps. What are other things that you think really help people, like young people especially, take on those new positions, take on those leadership opportunities?
I really just want to quickly say I really love your point, Savani. Definitely in terms of like self-doubt, especially with like job applications, unless I see that I tick every single box, I won't apply for it, just because I think, I'm not good enough for the role, or they're looking for someone really experienced, and generally also like the language in it is just like, it's just makes it seem like like you need to be like at your top game to apply for this role. So it's, you know, if, for example, with my role, like I am now working at PYT Fairfield 3 days a week. I wouldn't have applied for this role unless Caitlin like said, hey, I think you'd be great for this role. And then, you know, I did apply, and then I didn't get it the first time. And then the role came available again. And I went to apply again, and Kaz actually spoke to me, and she was like, she's the artistic director at PYT, and she was like, hey, Daisy, you do hit these points. This is how you hit these points, and you're amazing. And the thing is, you don't really think that as a young person unless someone actually encourages you and tells you that you can do something. I just find that, like, there's, you know, like Savani said, there's a lot of self-doubt from being, you know, a young person from Western Sydney, not really thinking, one, that you're educated enough, or two, that you're capable, or even that, you know, the jobs and experiences you've done are enough. And they are usually. So yeah, I really think that if someone really cares about having young people in these roles, that they actually need to go out there and seek them. It's not about just putting it out there and being like, someone will apply, because they won't. They won't apply. They won't apply unless you tell them, you're great at this. I think you'd be good at it, and this is why.
Yeah, I completely agree. And then actually at that point, I would really like to take a brief second to just look at and say in our chat, if there's any people who are leading organizations who are really genuine about wanting young people to apply, to wanting young, diverse people to apply. As Daisy said, you have to do the work. You have to do things. If you have to change your hiring practices. You have to really listen to what the people you want to bring in are saying and what they need. And you have to put in the care and structures to take care of whatever new person you bring in, whatever young person you bring in, whatever young Black or brown voice you bring in, or young queer person. If those care and structures aren't there, if you're just setting them up to take the fall because they haven't been able to fix your organization, then you're not doing enough and you're not putting in the work. And we don't want to hear your empty statements about how you really care about getting young people in. You know, really encouraging and nurturing young voices and young people to really get to the leadership potential that they have, that takes a lot of work. And I think all of us here today are only here because other people have put in that work. And actually, you mentioned Caitlin, and Caitlin is definitely one of those people who has always put in the work. And she's actually leaving us at the end of 2020 after 6 years. So Caitlin, I know that you're on the Zoom call, but can you please come out here? Hello. Hello. It's live. It's here. Hello. So Caitlin, I just wanted to say that there is not a single person on this panel or behind these cameras or behind these live streams desks. All of these people, they have all had you either you've either remembered a job or an opportunity for them. You've encouraged us. You've basically helped us to do better and dream bigger than we ever would have thought, than we ever thought we were capable of. And we're all gonna miss you so much. And, ooh, yes. These are for you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, thank you. I don't want to say anything because I'm on the clock and we're running behind time.
But thank you. You're awesome. There's stuff coming on the feed just talking about the possibility of this team and this leadership. So I'm excited. I'm staying by. I'm in the audience. Yeah.
Thank you, Caitlin. And thank you. And if you're in the chat and you've worked with Caitlin and you know the different ways that she's encouraged you or helped you, you should let her know in the chat because she's in there. So as you can see, this whole live broadcast has been a bit of an experiment. Thank you everyone for being patient with us as we go through all the technical things. But experimenting is important, especially when you're a young person in the arts. And experimenting with different ways of like connecting was a big part of what the Makerspace program was doing this year. So here to tell you all about that in this very natural segue is the Makerspace artist to introduce their new program, their new work that they've been working on throughout this year, Make Yourself at Home.
Pass me, I wanna get work, rest, play. I say make it sound nice. Say work, rest, play. I say make it sound nice. Say work, rest, play. I say make it sound nice. Say work, 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 work.
Before all this kind of COVID stuff happened, we used to get together in a really small meeting room at the Whitlam Library in Cabramatta. And it was a tight fit even like back then. And I remember, it was like often like 12 of us kind of like huddled around the table together. And then of course, sort of COVID happened and that was no longer felt like a safe space to do that. And we start with this online Zoom stuff.
I remember that like for a while it was the best part of my week was Makerspace because it was the only time I talked to someone who's not in my house.
I don't know. I guess I kind of just wanted to extend the feeling that I get when I'm in these meetings like once a week. I always know they're on Tuesdays and like we all kind of get together, and particularly when COVID first started and couldn't go anywhere, you couldn't do anything. It was like a really nice way to like maintain some sort of normalcy. That's not a word. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yes, it is.
Like it was quite huge for me. I really liked it, and I wanted to then kind of put that into the work. And like we'll create a house where we're all in the house, but it's not a real house. Fragments from each of our individual houses, and then that could kind of be an object that hosts us all, kind of like the Zoom, but in a physical artwork way.
Like there's a lot of obvious reasons why we went with the idea of sort of everyone's rooms, but part of it is also just because we're on these Zoom calls and most of us don't have like a place that we can take them other than our rooms, and it's always nice to see just this little glimpse of everyone's homes in it.
We gave it space and we let it grow. We kind of let it fade out a little bit just because we were kind of fading out a little bit, and the process has reflected our process throughout this whole experience, which is kind of nice, like kind of living through this house we've created.
It already feels like a time capsule. Like some of the stuff that we reflect on in the piece already feels like it's quite far away, and feels like a space for reflection for us and hopefully for other people who experience it as well. Particularly with little parts of the piece, they speak quite directly to a point in time that we're very lucky to consider that the past now. But it's cool that we've been able to document that and be able to share it.
So the work is called Make Yourself at Home, and you can experience it on your computer, phone or tablet. And it's a multi-art work consisting of interactivity, photography, video, writing, sound pieces, and a few cool surprises.
In this experience, you can move room to room, picking up objects and interacting with the environment to piece together the stories of the people who live there.
The nature of this interactive work means we want to test it on as many devices as possible, which is where you come in. If you want to help us out by testing the beta version of Make Yourself at Home before its December launch, please visit tiny.cc/makeyourselfathome and sign up to register.
Particularly maybe like next year or like a couple of years down the track when we go back and revisit this, I think it'd be really special to remember this whole, like we started at the beginning of the year. This has been the whole year we've been checking in like once a week.
Oh my God, we've wasted so much time.
But I think it'd be really nice.
Hello again, it's me again. Thanks everyone for spending the afternoon with us, for letting us take you on this wild online adventure. You know, if anything, there's anything that we've learned this year, it's that 2020 has taught us that anytime we are able to connect, no matter how weird and wacky and online it is, it's just incredibly precious. So to finish off, You've heard a lot from us about what we want from 2021 and beyond, and now we want to hear from you. So if you remember those texts and paper that I told you to get, or blood and parchment, as I saw from the chat, whatever you have, you're gonna grab those, and we're gonna give you 20 seconds to write out your wish for 2021 in one word. Just one. It can be as general or as specific to you as possible. We know it's a little bit earnest, it's a little bit cheesy, but you know, after this year we've had, I think it's nice to end with some wholesomeness. So everyone get writing. We're gonna put 20 seconds on the clock.
Get in touch with my roots for one day. I wanna get lost in the woods. It gets so crazy all up in the city, people pushing past me. I wanna get lost. I wanna get lost.
Hello, am I back? Oh, I've had some technical issues because now I can't see my Zoom anymore. But anyway, you've all been asked to share your video, so go on gallery mode. And what I'd really like you to do is to turn your webcam on and put up your piece of paper and share it on your webcam to everyone so we can see what your wishes are. Let's see what they look like. Ooh, I have to go onto gallery mode. I have not done the thing I told you all to do. I see honesty, trust in the goodness is not one word, but I like it. What else do we have? Dream, beautiful, equity, love and peace. Also not one word, but I'll take it. Expansion, thank you everyone. Better, that's beautiful. I really like that, Alex. Thank you everyone. We're gonna, okay, so thank you. How do you feel? Did you have fun? I hope you all had fun. We wouldn't be able to do this all without you or without the support we get from many people. And now I have to do the thing that you have to do, which is thank everyone, including CuriousWorks is supported by the Australian government through the Australia Council for the Arts, the principal arts funding and advisory body, and the New South Wales government through Create New South Wales. And our usual home at Casula Powerhouse Arts Centre is generously supported by Liverpool City Council. Thank you to all of you, to all of our partner organizations and other funding bodies, and a special thank you to our management committee, including this year's chair, Melinda Muth, for all the hard work and guidance throughout the year. And thanks for coming, guys. Have a great evening, everyone, and enjoy your weekend. Good night.
I wanna get lost in the woods. Get in touch with my roots for one day. I wanna get lost in the woods. It gets so crazy all up in the city, people pushing past me. I wanna get work, rest, play. I say make it sound nice. Say work, rest, play. I say make it sound nice. Say